Hi boys and girls, this is Mrs. DiCarlo with your third day of planning for your fantasy story. And what you're looking at here is a sketch of my planned setting for my fantasy story. Remember, my story is going to be about a girl named Sarah who is very helpful because her special watch alerts her when someone needs her help. So I've chosen to set my story in a realistic setting like Linwood Avenue Elementary, which I believe was actually the name of Patrick M. Villano before it became Villano School. So anyway, that kind of inspired me. You'll see here in my sketch of this realistic setting, I put a little plaque on the wall because I want to remember that as I begin writing, I want to make sure in my beginning action, I fully describe this scene. So anyway, I've got Linwood Avenue Elementary here in the top of my picture, and some other things you'll see on this page in my notebook. I've labeled it a realistic setting, and I picture my story beginning in the morning. Sarah, remember, she's always running late. I picture her at her locker. She's messy too. So I see her locker kind of overflowing with books and maybe old snacks. Her book bag is there. I've even labeled it Sarah's messy locker. You'll see some things seem to almost be falling out of it. And so these details, by including them in my drawing, are going to remind me to include them in my story. And that's going to make for a more interesting opening. Okay, so some other details that I've added here. I picture her running late for science class. She's got a hand in a special project. So I have her right outside science class with Mrs. Romeo. I just made up a teacher's name. I've labeled some other aspects of this. Room 114. If I can work in some of these details in a way that flows well, it's going to make my story really interesting from the beginning. I even detail down here that I picture she's standing at her red locker and the floor is shiny black and white tiles. Again, just to make that really vivid image for my reader. So on the back of my page, I've got another setting for my story, which is the same place, it's just a little further down the hallway. And so what I've drawn here is the outside of the principal's office at this Linwood Avenue Elementary. So you'll see the door here for the principal's office. I picture a bench where you might wait to meet with the principal if you have a meeting. And so towards the end of my story, when Sarah intervenes, when she uses her watch to help someone in need, I think they might wind up walking to the principal's office after that, if you know what I mean. I think that the person who was bullying or being really unkind might need to just check in with the principal. And so that's why I included this other setting for my story. So what you're going to do today is you're going to think about the settings for your story, whether they're real or imagined. We do want to just kind of give you some advice to limit your settings to no more than 2, so that you can spend enough time really detailing any setting that you introduce and keeping it understandable for your reader. So anyway, in your notebook, you could do this in your writing notebook, you could do this on a piece of white paper. We'd like you to draw the 1 or 2 settings that are going to be a part of your story, including lots of details. It doesn't have to be in color, but certainly labeling it will remind you of what you see in your mind at this moment that you want to include for your reader. Okay, and then we look forward to either seeing your drawings in class on Friday or during our virtual meet on Friday afternoon. If you have any questions, be sure to reach out to your teacher. And there are some directions as well on the Fantasy Story Planning Guide for Day 3 if you want to read over those directions to be sure you know what to do. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.